We open on a sprawling metropolis, home to the Grand Animal Match Super. Inside, a battle rages as an ice wielder vows to end it with a flourish. He summons a deadly barrage of ice spikes, a frozen storm from below. But his opponent, a fiery-haired kid, stands completely unbothered. This is Kaido Sakamoto, and he's got an ace up his sleeve. Meet Chili Pepper, his fiery and apparently very enthusiastic partner. With a single command, Chili Pepper unleashes a devastating flame strike. Watching from a private suite because some people get better seats than others. Her name is Mei Kisaratsu, and she doesn't look easily impressed. This spectacle is all thanks to a new AI life form born in the near future. These partners are custom-made, tailored to their human's very DNA. They've integrated into every aspect of society, changing lives forever. And the corporation behind this revolution is the Saratsu Company. They call these incredible bioengineered creatures animals. Back in the arena, the Ice Wielder's ultimate attack begins to shatter. Chili Pepper's flame strike tears right through the frozen defense. His opponent, however, seems to be enjoying this a little too much. He introduces himself as Takeru Shirogane, ready to face his rival. But his dramatic speech is completely lost on Kaido, who can't hear a thing. Even his own partner Kiba has to snap him out of his despair. Snapped back to reality, Takeru is absolutely thrilled for the real fight to begin. Kaito wastes no time, sending Chili Pepper hurtling forward like a living fireball. In response, Takeru summons a colossal frostquake ice tremor from the ground. The ice coalesces into the head of a massive serpent, its jaws wide open. But Kaido just grins, finally seeing an opponent who can actually keep up. Together, he and Chili Pepper activate their synchro drive for a double strike. The clash of elements results in a blinding explosion that engulfs the stage, and from the smoke emerges a new silhouette, because of course he can get bigger. Chili Pepper unleashes the Hellfire Blaze Cannon, a devastating torrent of flame. But just as the blast is about to hit, we're pulled back in time, to 1 year ago. We find a younger Kaido and a pint-sized Chili Pepper getting tossed out. He's been beaten down by a menacing figure for wasting his time. But Kaido isn't backing down, accusing the man of being the real thief. The thug scoffs, flanked by his pack of hyena-like animals. Even in a fight, Kaido argues with his partner about property damage. Their bickering only enrages the man, who gives a simple order: kill them. His pack of animals lunges forward, a blur of fur and aggression. They descend on the pair, jaws wide and ready to tear them apart. But suddenly, a brilliant beam of light cuts through the attack. Kaido turns in shock, saved by an unseen ally with a glowing weapon. Their savior belongs to the Animal Security Management Division, and he makes it clear this area is under his protection. This is Gento Sakamoto, and he's not here to praise our hero. His presence alone is enough to terrify the thug's animals. The bully and his pack tuck tail and run for the hills, and Kaido can only look up at his rescuer, his own grandfather. But instead of a thank you, Kaido gets a swift smack to the head. His grandfather lectures him for being reckless, and grounds him for 2 weeks. True to his word, Kaido is locked away in their humble home. But he's not just fighting for fun. He's desperate to earn money for his grandfather's surgery. On the other side of the door, Gento is overcome with a coughing fit. He hides the blood, insisting that his health is not Kaido's problem to solve. Kaido argues back, claiming he's trying to protect the town in his grandfather's place. The old man's voice softens, admitting that he's scared of dying too. But what scares him more, he says, is the thought of Kaido getting hurt. The argument ends with a quiet moment of understanding between grandfather and grandson. Left alone in his room, Kaido contemplates his grandfather's words. He mutters about being treated like a child with Chili Pepper looking on. But being grounded doesn't mean you can't do a little research. He and Chili Pepper spend the night studying animal matches, planning their next move. While Kaido is supposed to be sleeping, Chili Pepper continues the research. But Kaido is wide awake, the weight of their situation heavy on his mind. His partner voices the fear they both share. His grandfather might die without surgery. Kaido confirms it, knowing that time is quickly running out for the old man. Chili Pepper curls up beside him, a silent promise of support in the dark. Suddenly, a message flashes on the phone, offering a chance to change everything. The sudden advertisement catches both of them completely off guard. It's an invitation to the animal match, because what better way to pay medical bills than organized violence? The ad promises a fierce and bloody battle for glory and riches. A flashy announcer promises a life-changing prize for the ultimate winner. The ad promises a staggering 300,000 G for a single rookie win. The prize money only increases with more victories, and they're recruiting now. Chili Pepper, of course, immediately translates this into a 3-month food budget. But Kaido sees something far more important than a feast. He realizes that if they can win this A-animal match, they might just be able to afford his grandfather's surgery. The weight of that realization dawns on his fiery partner. With a shared look of determination, they make a pact to fight. And just like that, Kaido's 2-week grounding comes to an abrupt end. The pair races across the rooftops, chasing a desperate hope under the moonlight. With newfound purpose, Kaido and Chili Pepper charge ahead. He vows to win the match and bring back enough money to make his grandfather proud. They arrive at the grand entrance, ready to claim their prize and change their lives. Full of confidence, our boy rushes toward the gate, ready for his big debut. But his grand entrance is cut short by a very large, very unimpressed bouncer. The guard grabs him by the collar, asking a question Kaido wasn't prepared for. He's asked for a participation certificate, a term Kaido has clearly never heard. Kaido fumbles for an answer, wondering if a simple ID card will do the trick. The guard's expression makes it clear that, no, an ID card will not be enough, and with a single toss he sends them flying, because apparently you need an appointment for glory. Kaido pleads with the guard, but his grand plan has hit a bureaucratic wall. A closer look at the official rules confirms their worst fears. Chili Pepper reads the fine print. Applications are due a full month in advance. Defeated, the pair sits in silence, their hopes completely dashed. But Chili Pepper, ever the pragmatist, starts working on the application anyway. Kaido, however, has a much less patient plan in mind. He admits he has no idea if it'll work, but desperation is a powerful motivator. They make it over the wall, landing right in the middle of an ongoing match. A griffin-like animal named Arrow prepares to counter the flanking maneuver. It unleashes a devastating barrage of sharp projectiles at its opponent. But its opponent, an electric type named Olivia, isn't fazed in the slightest. It charges headfirst through the storm of blades, ignoring the attack completely. The griffin is sent flying as Kaido and Chili Pepper watch from their hiding spot. Kaido sees this not as trespassing, but as a prime opportunity for some field research. But their less than subtle commentary has attracted some unwanted attention. A nearby security guard orders his own animal to scan for the source of the noise. The cybernetic dog's sensors sweep the area, honing in on the pipes above. With a digital bark, the security animal confirms it has found the intruders. Kaito panics as their silhouette is highlighted, their cover completely blown, and their brilliant stealth mission ends with them crashing through the ceiling. The crowd panics as security immediately orders the capture of the intruders. Kaito is swiftly apprehended, pleading that he needs to be in the match. But as they're being dragged away, a mysterious figure blocks their path. The guards recognize him instantly, the general producer of the animal match. Kaito sees his chance, desperately explaining he needs the prize money right now. The producer calmly holds up a hand, silencing his subordinate. He then gives a surprising order. Release Kaito's partner immediately. Reunited, the pair strikes a confident pose, ready for their big shot. The producer's gaze, however, is fixed solely on the little red animal. With a curious smile, he asks Kaito what kind of partner he has. Kaito fumbles for an answer, guessing that his partner is a lizard? Chili Pepper is deeply offended, demanding recognition for his magnificent wings. The producer dismisses the wings as mere accessories, lost in thought about the animal's true nature. His curiosity piqued, he reaches out to inspect the flame on Chili Pepper's tail. While Chili Pepper protests the unwanted contact, the producer asks Kaito what it can do. Kaito proudly blurts out its fire ability, instantly regretting his grandfather's warning. He brushes aside the intrusion, his mind now fixated on the mention of fire. A slow, calculating smile spreads across his face. This is something truly special. He then makes an unexpected offer, a chance for Kaito to join today's match. As Kaito reels back in shock, the producer explains that a spot has conveniently just opened up. The producer explains that they just so happen to be looking for a replacement. He asks if Kaito is okay with taking the spot, as if there's any other answer. Without a moment's hesitation, the pair enthusiastically accepts the offer. But Kaito has one very important question. Is the prize money still on the table? The producer confirms it with a grin, adding one simple condition: he has to win. And just like that, they're whisked away through the high-tech corridors of the arena. Before the match, Kaito is handed a strange piece of headgear. He puts it on, the device activating over his eye with a faint glow. It's a standard-issue sync device, allowing for telepathic commands in the heat of battle. Chili Pepper, however, seems to think it's a one-size-fits-all situation. The sync device activates and Kaito is overwhelmed by a strange tingling sensation. The producer explains that through the headgear, they can now share each other's senses. While Kaito finds the sensory overload terrifying, Chili Pepper is having the time of his life. He rips the device off in a panic, sending his partner flying across the room. Once they've calmed down, the producer explains they can even link their movements. Kaido's mind immediately goes to the fun stuff like flamethrowers, much to his partner's horror. The producer quickly shuts that idea down, but Kaido is now buzzing with confidence. With the tutorial over, the producer turns to reveal his first opponent. From the shadows emerges a hulking figure, his first official challenger. He's backed by a colossal armored animal, ready for a fight. The producer introduces his opponent, the undefeated champion, Suo, and his partner, Garu. It seems Suo has a nasty habit of breaking his opponent's animals, a fact that our heroes are just now processing. Out in the arena, the crowd is already roaring for their champion. Garu, the armored behemoth, lets out a ferocious battle cry. The betting odds tell the whole story. It's a complete landslide. From the entrance, Kaido gets his first look at the massive stage. The producer wishes them luck, which is just so incredibly reassuring. The reality of their situation finally begins to sink in. And with a flourish, the announcer introduces the challenger to the unstoppable champion. The announcer introduces the last-minute rookie, Kaido Sakamoto. The crowd immediately dismisses him, seeing the impossible size difference. And up close, the reality of facing a literal monster is even more terrifying. As the announcer gives the signal, Garu lumbers forward with menacing intent. The champion's partner lets out a guttural roar, a clear sign of dominance. Kaido is sealed inside a protective barrier, much to Chili Pepper's confusion. With a sadistic grin, the announcer officially begins the animal match. Garu wastes no time, slamming its fist into the ground with incredible force. Suo and his partner move in perfect sync, ready to unleash their power. The armored behemoth winds up for another devastating blow, ready to end this quickly. Chili Pepper barely dodges as the champion's fist shatters the arena floor. He can only stare in disbelief, calling out the sheer unfairness of it all. But Garu is relentless, its massive paw descending to crush the tiny animal. Kaito watches in horror, stunned by the behemoth's impossible speed. With a swift grab, the champion snatches Chili Pepper by his flaming tail, and in a brutal display of power, slams him hard into the ground. Through their sync device, Kaido feels every bit of the devastating impact. The announcer declares a critical hit as Garu stands over its fallen opponent. The champion even complains that this is less of a fight and more like bullying. From his barrier, Kaido calls out as Chili Pepper struggles back to his feet, defiant. But Kaido roars back, refusing to just stand there and take the abuse. His fiery partner, though battered, echoes his master's defiance. Kaito realizes their size difference isn't a weakness, it's an advantage. The sync device in his eye flares to life, a targeting system locking on. Through their shared senses, he begins a rapid analysis of the battlefield. The system calculates a 78% hit rate, a chance they have to take. With a clear strategy in mind, Kaido orders Chili Pepper to move at full speed. The tiny animal becomes a red blur, circling the lumbering champion with ease. Garu grows frustrated, swiping wildly at the impossibly fast opponent. But the ground attack was just a feint as Chili Pepper suddenly leaps high above him. He lets out a defiant cry, ready to strike from above. A concentrated blast of fire slams directly into the champion's face. The behemoth stumbles back, roaring in a mix of pain and surprise. Chili Pepper lands gracefully, already speeding away for the next move. But his celebration is cut short as he realizes his opponent isn't done. The champion leaps into the air, preparing to crush him from above. Chili Pepper fires another blast, trying to counter the devastating body slam. But it's not enough, and he's slammed hard into the arena's energy barrier. The producer's earlier warning echoes. Every sensation is shared between partners. And Kaido feels the full force of the impact as if he were hit himself. The announcer declares it as the pair goes flying. Kaido and Chili Pepper are down. Chili Pepper struggles, his concern focused entirely on his fallen master. But Kaido forces himself up, scolding his partner for looking away from the fight. The little animal turns back, stunned by his master's incredible resilience. With a bloody grin, Kaido declares that this match is far from over. He tells Chili Pepper to focus because apparently getting body slammed is just a minor inconvenience. Through their link, Chili Pepper learns the champion's attack was only 40 kilometers per hour. He scoffs at the number, realizing it's slower than most cars on the road. With renewed confidence, he vows to show them what real speed looks like. Kaido's sync device confirms their strategy. The behemoth is too big to turn quickly. With a defiant roar, Chili Pepper prepares to unleash a torrent of flame. A massive pillar of fire erupts, blasting the champion from below. The announcer is absolutely loving the spectacle, cheering on the rookie's big move. but Kaido is stunned to see his opponent is completely unfazed by the attack. Suo just scoffs because apparently 2500 degrees is just a mild inconvenience. And from the smoke, Garu's massive claw emerges to swat him from the air. The champion's partner connects with a brutal swipe, sending Chili Pepper flying. The little animal is sent skidding across the entire length of the arena. Suo reveals the devastating truth. Garu's armor can withstand 3000 degrees. The announcer declares a perfect hit as Chili Pepper lies defeated, calling out to Kaido. Battered and broken, Chili Pepper can only apologize for his failure. He laments breaking his promise to protect Kaido as the champion looms over him. But just as the final blow is about to land, he's suddenly lifted into the air. Kaido has broken through the barrier, scooping up his partner to protect him. The announcer loses his mind because apparently there are rules to this blood sport. Suo tells the kid to step aside, offering to scrap his useless animal for him. He even insults Kaido's DNA, claiming he'll only ever produce weak partners. The champion tells him to just buy a new animal if he actually wants to win. But Kaido reveals this partner has been with him since his parents died. And with a roar of fury, he makes it clear that Chili Pepper is not replaceable. Suo just scoffs because apparently heartfelt speeches don't work on him. He gives the order, and Garu raises its fist to end the match on the boy. The armored behemoth lunges forward, a blur of rage and raw power. Kaito can only brace for the impact, shielding himself from the inevitable. But as the blow descends, a new, much larger shadow falls over him. He looks up to see Chili Pepper, transformed into a towering, draconic beast. Kaido stares in disbelief, trying to call off his newly evolved partner. But it's too late, as Chili Pepper unleashes an inferno of righteous fury. The blast sends the champion's animal flying, leaving the announcer speechless. And back in the present, Takeru stares at that same form, recognizing the impossible. Takeru stares, a flicker of dawning recognition in his eyes. He recognizes the long, dark tail, the impossible form from a year ago. Even Kaido can barely believe it, calling out his partner's name in shock. Back in the past, the champion's animal lies defeated and smoking. Its master, the undefeated Suo, is knocked out cold right beside it. The scoreboard makes it official. A stunning knockout victory for the rookie. In the vast arena, the boy and his newly evolved partner are the only ones standing. The announcer absolutely loses his mind because upsets are great for ratings. He explains that while some animals can transform, this was something else entirely. The producer agrees, calling this rare phenomenon a true evolution. The producer can only smile, calling the impossible display a true miracle. And the announcer makes it official, declaring Kaido Sakamoto the winner. Kaido stands in the silent arena, trying to process his sudden overwhelming victory. But as the smoke clears, he realizes his towering partner is nowhere to be seen. He calls out in a panic, searching for Chili Pepper in the dissipating haze. And from the smoke emerges his partner, back to his original size and very confused. The epic transformation is gone, leaving them both wondering what just happened. The next morning, the city awakens to a brand new, unlikely champion. News of the rookie's incredible upset spreads through the streets, and it eventually reaches the one person Kaido was fighting for all along. The local paper celebrates the birth of a new hero, Kaido Sakamoto. The whole town is buzzing with rumors and excitement over their new champion. But back at home, the celebration is a little more subdued. His grandfather points to Kaido's bandaged arm, his tone far from celebratory. He asks if Kaido got hurt in that dumb match, and the kid can't meet his gaze. Kaido and Chili Pepper both look like they've been caught with their hands in the cookie jar. He finally admits it, and his grandfather's silence is deafening. The old man slams his hands on the table, his patience completely gone. He roars in frustration, asking if his warnings meant nothing to the boy. And in a fit of rage, he flips the table, sending our hero tumbling to the floor. Kaido asks what's wrong, completely baffled by his grandfather's rage. He holds out the prize money, certain this will solve all their problems. But Gento furiously slaps the cash from his hand, refusing to accept it. He roars that this reckless behavior is why Kaido is still just a child. He then asks Kaido if he truly understands why his parents left him Chili Pepper. They had a specific wish for his life, and it wasn't this. The old man's anger finally softens as he gently holds his grandson's face. He explains Chili Pepper was a gift so Kaido would never have to be alone. His true purpose, Gento insists, was always to protect Kaido from harm. He begs his grandson to understand the legacy his parents truly left for him. Kaido is left speechless, the weight of his parents' legacy finally sinking in. But the emotional moment is shattered as Gento suddenly collapses to the floor. Kaido screams in terror as his grandfather lies unconscious in a pool of blood. We cut away from the quiet home to the sprawling city slums, and then to a modern hospital, where Gento has been rushed for care. The sign on the door confirms the worst. He's in emergency surgery. Kaido can only wait, a lonely figure in the sterile hospital hallway. The nurse's hushed conversation reveals a new, devastating problem. No insurance. The weight of the situation crashes down on him. The prize money isn't enough. Their quiet concern is interrupted by another nurse with zero bedside manner. A senior nurse dismisses the others, her expression all business. She sits with Kaido, delivering even more devastating news from the doctor. His grandfather's illness has spread, and his age makes treatment uncertain. She asks if he has any other family, and Kaido admits he's all alone. Her tone softens as she offers him some food, telling him to have faith. She hands him the bread, knowing he must be exhausted and hungry. He clutches the offering, admitting that he's not brave in the slightest. He finally breaks, blaming himself for making his grandfather's condition worse. Tears stream down his face as he explains he just wanted to protect Gento in return. The weight of it all becomes too much, and he breaks down completely. The nurse offers a moment of comfort, a small kindness in his despair. With a heavy heart, Kaido returns to the familiar streets of his neighborhood. But their quiet walk home is suddenly and unexpectedly interrupted. A voice calls out from a fancy car that clearly doesn't belong in this part of town. Kaito recognizes him instantly, the general producer from the stadium. The producer asks about his grandfather, and Kaido explains their dire situation. The man listens patiently before addressing our hero directly by name. He holds out an official registration packet, making a surprising proposal. He offers Kaido a chance to work for him, an opportunity to fight officially. The deal is simple. Become a pro player and earn money, win or lose. Kaido hesitates, already feeling the weight of his grandfather's disapproval. He blames himself, believing his reckless fighting is what made the old man worse. The thought of betraying his grandfather's wishes again tears him apart. But the producer reminds him of the grim alternative if he doesn't fight. He tells Chili Pepper that this desperate moment is the only one that matters. The man lays the responsibility squarely on their shoulders. They are Gento's only hope. With no other options, Kaido begins to see the logic in the dangerous offer. The producer presents him with his official registration and his next opponent. And back in the present, Takeru is being briefed on his new rival. Kiba immediately recognizes the rumors of a kid with a rare evolving animal. Kiba recognizes the form on the screen, the legendary evolving animal. Takeru scoffs at Kaido's ID, amused that the rookie already has a catchphrase. But beneath the smile is a flicker of pure, unadulterated jealousy. He can't forgive this newcomer for stealing the attention he feels he deserves. His partner Kiba stands by, a silent testament to their established power. And back in the present, Kaido and Chili Pepper wait for the match to continue. Takeru's voice cuts through the silence, confirming he knows his opponent. He approaches with an unnerving swagger, calling Kaido as strange as the rumors say. He finally addresses our hero by name, the legendary Kaido Sakamoto. But his greeting isn't friendly. It's the prelude to a declaration of war. Takeru smugly declares that Kaido's pro debut is destined to fail. But Kaido, ever the master of social graces, has no idea who he is. Takeru is stunned as Kaido dismisses him, saying he has a match to get to. He can't believe the rookie doesn't recognize him, but Kaido just walks away. Enraged, Takeru stomps his foot, sending a wave of icy water across the floor. But his dramatic exit is ruined as he slips on his own ice, going airborne. Kaito, with surprising speed, catches his rival before he can faceplant. For a moment, Takeru seems to accept his fate, hanging upside down in silence. But even upside down, he can't resist repeating his threat of failure. Back on his feet, he properly introduces himself as Takeru Shirogane, Kaido's next opponent. But Kaito is already walking away, completely ignoring his rival's dramatic introduction. Takeru, still hanging upside down, claims Kaido is simply scared of his beauty. He even agrees with himself, while Kaido just finds him annoyingly positive. With a graceful flip, Takeru lands and boasts about his undefeated record. He skates around Kaido on a trail of ice, vowing to crush the rookie's career. His true motivation is revealed, a dream of becoming the richest man in the country. And of course, dating girls from all over the world. A man of simple tastes. Kaido and Chili Pepper can only stare, finding the whole display incredibly irritating. The rivals devolve into a petty argument about Takeru being cold from his own ice. Takeru makes it clear. He won't let some evolving animal steal his road to popularity. Kaito cuts through the monologue with a single dismissive word, pathetic. He clarifies that he couldn't care less about Takeru's self-absorbed dreams. Takeru is absolutely aghast, unable to process the insult to his grand ambition. But Kaido just stares back, completely unapologetic for his brutal honesty. And just like that, the undefeated champion breaks down into a flood of tears. Kaido walks away as Kiba tries to console his master, who's now a literal puddle of despair. Our boy makes his own motivation clear. He's not here for dreams, he's here for money. Kiba scoffs at this, claiming that a fighter without a noble cause is just a beast. Chili Pepper retorts that it's better to be a beast than a fool, which doesn't help the situation. As the animals bicker, Takaru decides he's had enough drama for one day and heads home. Kiba demands a response from his sobbing master, but Kaido just tells Chili Pepper to ignore them. And just like that, we're back in the present, as the announcer declares the match has begun. The flashy announcer hypes up the crowd, thrilled to see these young hopefuls gathered. First up is the prince of the ice rink, the ever-charming Takaru Shirogane and Kiba, and his opponent, the fiery rising star Kaido Sakamoto and Chili Pepper. Takeru's massive fan club is already going wild, and he's loving every second of it. The announcer screams into the mic, trying to build the same energy for our hero. And it seems Kaido has his own supporters, though they're a slightly more rugged bunch. Chili Pepper realizes with a start that their entire town has come out to support them. But while Chili Pepper waves excitedly, Kaido tells him to keep his eyes on the prize. Kaito's expression hardens, his eyes fixed on the arena as the match is about to start. Chili Pepper glances over, a flicker of concern in his wide, focused eyes. Across the stage, Takeru soaks in the adoration. But Kiba notes that Kaido seems strangely focused today. But Kaido is on the phone, his plan simple. Beat this guy, get the money, and go home. Takeru scoffs, declaring Kaido is just another stepping stone on his path to popularity. The arena floor illuminates as the system grants access, officially beginning the match. Kaido wastes no time, pointing forward and shouting his partner's name. He immediately calls for an evolution, a command that even catches Chili Pepper by surprise. Takeru mirrors the move, preparing his own partner for the incoming power-up. Chili Pepper strains, concentrating all his energy to trigger the legendary transformation. But the arena falls silent as Chili Pepper struggles to transform. He panics, admitting he has no idea how they did it the first time. Kiba mocks their failed attempt, calling their grand entrance pathetic. The ice animal turns to its master, ready to begin the fight. Takeru gives a simple, confident gesture to his partner. He confirms their usual strategy is all they'll need for this fight. Kiba unleashes the same devastating move from the start of the match. A massive wave of ice spreads across the arena in a perfect pattern. Kiba begins a little science lesson because why not? He explains that when the ground freezes this fast, it begins to shake. The ice animal glides across the arena, leaving a frozen trail in its wake. Suddenly, a wall of razor-sharp ice spikes erupts from the ground. Chili Pepper is thrown into the air, caught completely off guard by the sudden assault. The ice continues to grow, forming a massive claw-like structure. It lashes out like a frozen whip, its movements impossibly fast. The tendril then blossoms into a beautiful crystalline flower, but the beautiful trap snaps shut, catching Chili Pepper by his flaming tail. Takeru strikes a pose, explaining his motto is to keep fights short and sweet. With a smug grin, he declares the match is already over. Kaido's hometown supporters can only watch in horror, their hopes instantly frozen. Kaito can only scream his partner's name, watching helplessly from his barrier. Takeru bids them a chilly farewell, encasing Chili Pepper in a tomb of solid ice. He points with a flourish, dedicating this swift victory to his so-called rival. Through their link, Chili Pepper calls out to Kaido, his vision glitching out. But with a defiant roar, the little animal shatters the ice from the inside. The announcer declares them both down. If they don't rise, the match is over. Takeru stands over them, confident that his victory is already sealed. The official countdown begins as Chili Pepper lies motionless on the ice. As the numbers tick down, he can only call out his master's name in desperation. And suddenly, we're pulled back to a memory of two men and a newborn animal. We're shown a memory of a newborn Kaido, introduced by his father's loving voice. His father jokes that Chili Pepper, being born first, is technically the older brother. The baby's sudden crying seems to startle the newly appointed big brother. His mother encourages the animal to try and comfort the crying infant. Chili Pepper cautiously reaches out, and the baby's tears immediately stop. The two make their first connection, a gentle touch between brothers. And with that, a promise is made. Chili Pepper must protect Kaido from now on. The little animal accepts his duty, a vow made to his new family. As they grow, Chili Pepper takes his role as protector very seriously. He vows to be the best big brother in the world, a promise he's kept ever since. The memory flashes back to simpler times, a fight over pancakes. Chili Pepper's vow was simple: to protect Kaido's smile at all costs. But that promise was forged in the fires of an unimaginable tragedy, an explosion that tore their family apart, leaving only rubble and sorrow. With his dying breath, Kaido's father apologized for leaving him this burden, and his mother's final wish was a desperate plea to protect her son, a promise made in the smoke and ashes of everything he'd ever known. It was a pain that followed Kaido through lonely nights for years, a pain that resurfaced in the cold, sterile halls of a hospital. And in the present, that promise echoes as the ice begins to crack. That promise becomes a roar of defiance, vowing to protect Kaido no matter what. The countdown is cut short as the frozen prison explodes from within. A pillar of pure flame erupts, sending Takeru and his partner reeling. And from the inferno rises the draconic beast, its evolution finally triggered. The announcer is absolutely electric, screaming for the evolution he's witnessing. Even Takeru can't help but be impressed by the sheer drama of it all. But the sudden power surge has overwhelmed Kaido, knocking him to the floor. The evolved animal charges a devastating blast, its maw glowing with power. It unleashes a torrent of concentrated fire, a beam of pure destruction. Takeru screams in terror, his own sync device overloading as the blast closes in. But Takeru isn't going down that easily, activating his own synchro drive for a double strike. Their sync level skyrockets past 100%, pushing their connection to its absolute limit. Together they unleash a desperate counterattack, a storm of razor-sharp ice. A fortress of frozen blades rises from the ground to meet the inferno head-on. The two ultimate attacks collide in a cataclysmic explosion of fire and ice. But the sheer power of the evolution proves too much, melting the ice like it's nothing. Kiba can only watch in horror, as its ultimate defense is utterly annihilated. The announcer confirms it. The flame cannon has shattered the shield boost, but Takeru stands firm, scolding his partner for getting worked up. He turns to the crowd with a wink, because even near-death experiences are a photo op. His adoring fans go wild, completely eating up his dramatic performance. With a confident smirk, Takeru announces it's time for a counterattack. Kiba's claw glows with icy energy as it slices through the air. It unleashes a triple axle, a spinning vortex of pure ice and fury. Takeru thanks him for the fire, claiming it's only made them stronger. Kiba's newly charged freeze claw slams directly into Chili Pepper's face. The draconic beast roars in pain, stunned by the unexpected power. The announcer declares a clean hit as Chili Pepper is knocked out of his evolution. Kiba stands over him, declaring that teamwork will always triumph. And Kaido can only watch in disbelief as Takeru declares his defeat. Takeru's words cut deep, calling Chili Pepper selfish for his reckless evolution. But on the ground, Chili Pepper admits that being dragged into Kaido's messes is nothing new. He's more than used to his partner's impulsive nature. But through it all, he's made a conscious choice to protect the boy. Because Kaido's dream has become his own, a path they walk together. The weight of that loyalty seems to crush Kaido, who can only kneel in silence. But as his partner's words echo, something inside him begins to shift. He clenches his fist, realizing he's been looking at this all wrong. He wonders how he could have forgotten the true nature of their bond. But Takeru isn't waiting for a heartfelt reunion, ordering Kiba to finish them off. As Kiba's finishing blow descends, Kaido screams his partner's name. But it's not a cry of defeat. It's a command, a roar of defiance. With perfect timing, Chili Pepper springs high into the air, dodging the final blow. Kaito realizes the only reason he's ever made it this far is because he's never had to fight alone. With a newfound smile, our boy is ready to fight as a true partner. Together, they activate their synchro drive for another double strike. Their sync level skyrockets past 100%, pushing their bond to the absolute limit. Kiba realizes its own ice has become a trap, which is just beautifully ironic. And from above, Chili Pepper unleashes a massive, concentrated firebomb. The final attack descends, a miniature sun meant to melt the entire stage. The referee's countdown echoes through the steam, the outcome still unknown. And as the smoke clears, the undefeated champion and his partner are down. The official announcement rings out and Kaido can't believe what he's hearing. His partner, meanwhile, is celebrating with a graceful plummet back to Earth. Snapping out of his shock, Kaido races to catch his exhausted partner. He slides in at the last possible second, catching his partner safely. The little animal offers a weak but grateful compliment for the save. The weight of what they've just accomplished finally hits him. In the center of the massive arena, the rookie champion holds his partner close. After the battle, our heroes are shown to their new official quarters. Kaito sits in silence until a cheerful voice breaks through the quiet. A technician enters, announcing that Chili Pepper's repairs are complete. The The little animal zips over as she explains that repairs are free for official players. With a final word of encouragement, the technician takes her leave. She leaves them to it, a knowing smile on her face as the door slides shut. With the room now quiet, Kaido finally apologizes for dragging his partner into this mess. He admits his desperation to save his grandfather made him reckless and selfish. His partner listens, the weight of Kaido's confession clear on his face. And for that heartfelt confession, he's rewarded with a swift smack to the face. Chili Pepper explains that this reckless, headstrong nature is just who Kaido is. He admits that being desperate for family is natural, and even a part of Kaido he likes. But he reminds Kaido that he's family too, and shouldn't have to rush in alone. He confesses that being left out of the fight makes him feel incredibly lonely. The weight of that simple confession finally sinks in for our hero. Kaito looks at his partner, truly seeing him for the first time in a long while. With a renewed smile, he makes a new promise. From now on, they fight together. His partner is absolutely thrilled, their bond now stronger than ever. Of course, their heartfelt moment immediately devolves into an argument over attack names, but their bickering is cut short as they realize they're not alone. The intruders are none other than Takeru and Kiba, who are now a sobbing mess. Takeru tackles Kaido in a tearful embrace, completely ignoring personal space. Even Kiba joins the emotional dogpile, moved by Kaido's desperate struggle. Kaido can only comment on his rival's surprising intensity for an ice wielder. With a dramatic flourish, Takeru declares he was deeply moved by Kaido's sincerity. He calls their meeting fate and offers Kaido his winnings as a gift. But Kaido flatly rejects the offer, pushing the money away without a second thought. Takeru is stunned by the rejection, his rival's pride bringing him to the verge of tears again. Kaito awkwardly explains that while they may be poor, they aren't unhappy. It's a lesson his grandfather taught him, a simple truth that silences his rival. Kaito looks back, still processing his rival's sudden change of heart. Takeru smiles, admitting that Kaito was clearly raised in a wonderful family. But their moment is shattered as Chili Pepper reminds Kaito about hospital visiting hours. Kaito panics, realizing they only have 20 minutes to get across town. Takeru tells them not to worry, offering a ride on his partner's massive hand. He declares they'll forge their own path, activating their synchro drive. Kiba smashes through the wall, creating a massive, glittering ice slide. Takeru proudly announces their express route straight to the hospital. Kaido and Chili Pepper can only scream in terror at their new, highly unregulated taxi service. The ice road carves a chaotic path through the city skyline. Meanwhile, in a sterile lab, a different kind of animal is being analyzed. A researcher notes a critical anomaly. Its core DNA chip is completely missing. His assistant seems surprised by the sudden concerning discovery, but he clarifies they're not talking about this specimen, but about Chili Pepper. He confirms that Kaido's partner is the one they've been searching for all this time. The researcher wonders if this is the legendary masterpiece they thought was lost. With his suspicions confirmed, he makes his intentions terrifyingly clear. He orders his subordinate to acquire the animal as soon as possible. As the order is given, a heavy rain begins to fall over the city, and through the downpour, a mysterious figure arrives with a heavy purpose. The mysterious figure is a young woman with purple hair and a look of stern disapproval. She stands alone in the rain, dwarfed by the shadow of her massive, unseen partner.